Hello everyone and welcome back to another episode of Pointless Top 10, a show where we make top 10 lists out of pointless things. Why are we flying by this pointless statue in Booty Bay? Because inside pointless things are treasure. Let's begin. 10. Number 10 is Talut the Kodo. I don't know how you say it, but it's one of those. Possibly a reference to Talut from the Mammoth Hunters, according to somebody on Wowhead. But he's just a good guy. He's drinking some water. He's, I guess, waiting for his owner, or I don't know what he's doing. He's just kind of chilling here. But I always remember him from Zanger Marsh, so I was like, hey, that's a Kodo that's pretty notable. I think a lot of people have seen him, but I don't think he has any other notoriety outside of that. So I figured this would be a good time because of that to talk about what are Kodos. So Kodos are massive reptiles with hardly visible scales and thick leathery skin that ranges in color from sandy brown to black. Most Kodo have a large horn that sprouts from their nose, and some are even covered in woolly hair. Kodo range across central Kalimdor, but are particularly prevalent in Mulgore, after they were brought there by the Tauren during the Third War. Also, the name Kodo is probably derived from Japanese taiko drumming band Kodo, especially since orcs used Kodos to carry war drums into battle. So there you go, a little bit of Kodo facts, a little bit of Talut, and that's why he's number 10. 9. Number 9 is the Brewfest Kodo, and the Brewfest Kodo is a mount that you acquire from killing crendor brew in Blackrock Depths during Brewfest. It appears that it has about a 3 to 14% drop chance, which sounds about right. This is also a mount that's more coveted amongst Alliance because you can't really get Kodos on Alliance, while Horde you can usually get a decent amount of Kodo mounts. Fun fact, this actually dropped on our first crendor brew attempt last year in Classic WoW, and I won the mount, so it was pretty cool. But I really do love this mount. I love the armor of the mount, I love the colors, I love the little mugs on the armor plates, I like all of it. And if you read the mount journal, it actually says crendor brew won this prize after drinking a Tauren druid under the table, and the druid was in bear form. It was one of Dire Brew's proudest moments. So there you go, a little lore fact if you never read the Mount Journal about the Brewfest Kodo. I do know they're making some changes to Brewfest this year with Dragonflight, so that's pretty exciting. Hopefully they actually update literally anything about it. But as for now, the Brewfest Kodo is number 9. 8. Number 8 is Tavgren's Kodo, and Tavgren's Kodo is the Kodo of Earthbinder Tavgren, who is a Tauren quest giver in the Cenarian Thicket in Terakar Forest. He was actually one of the 2 survivors of the destruction of the Cenarian Thicket Druid Enclave, and he was away on a survey of the Bone Waste during the attack. The other survivor was Warden Treelos, who was present when the devastation occurred and was driven insane by it. But his Kodo is great. He's a tan yellowish Kodo with brown spots, and he carries a bunch of stuff on his back. I know a lot of Kodos are actually used as kind of pack animals that carry a bunch of stuff around on top of what we mentioned earlier about the war drums, but it does seem like Kodos are primarily used as pack animals now, or as mounts. So Tavgren's Kodo, you know, nothing too crazy special about him, but you need these types of Kodos on the list, right? Like, so what if there's nothing crazy special about him? He is still a vital part of World of Warcraft and a vital part of transporting supplies. And that's why Tavgren's Kodo is number 8. 7. Number 7 is Arakia, and Arakia is a named Kodo found roaming the hills just east of Thunderbluff. Arakia's actually been in the game since the original version of World of Warcraft way back when, and Arakia used to be a quest objective for the Cairn Bloodhoof quest, Rites of the Earth Mother. The description was, you have passed the Rites of the Earth Mother and earned your place in Thunderbluff, but in order to maintain the spot that you strive so hard to achieve, you must continue to prove your worth to your people. We are hunters. Down below in Mulgore, there is a mighty Kodo named Arakia. Show me your skills in the ways of tracking and hunting by bringing me the horn of Arakia. But that quest is no longer in the game. Arakia, however, still is in the game, but they are now a rare spawn and seemingly tamed by a lot of hunters. And I really wanted to put Arakia on the list because I do remember doing this quest way back in Classic WoW. And I do remember seeing Arakia all the time just questing in Mulgore. So to me, Arakia being one of the most notable Kodos in Mulgore, which is one of the most Kodo-rich territories in World of Warcraft, is good enough for me to put them at number 7. 6. Number 6 is Capic, or Capic, I'm not sure how you say it. and they are Sunwalker Dezko's riding Kodo. And if you don't know who Sunwalker Dezko is, he is one of the most notable Tauren lore characters in the game, outside of like Bane and Cairn Bloodhoof. Sunwalker Dezko is a prominent Tauren Sunwalker and the chieftain of the Dawn Chaser tribe. He was dispatched by Bane Bloodhoof to the myth-shrouded land of Pandaria. He's a quest giver and major character during the Krasarong Wilds storyline. In fact, he ends up being in Warlords of Draenor, Legion, Battle for Azeroth, and Shadowlands. And maybe my favorite thing about Sunwalker Dezko is that he says, like many World of Warcraft players over the years, he has fallen off the Thunderbluff elevator on more than one occasion. So I love that. He's keeping it real. Maybe he's also checked out Pointless Top 10 Elevators, which I'll put up in the cards up there. Sorry, shameless plug. But more importantly is his Kodo. Kapik or Kapik is really cool. They've got a custom set of Kodo armor that you don't really see anywhere else in the game. They've got like crazy totems with faces and fire coming out of their eyes. They've got kind of this sun theme going. It's almost like a cool sun because it's blue and red. You would think it would be like yellow and orange, right? But it's a really cool Kodo. And it's one of those Kodos that doesn't really get much attention because it's just chilling in the Krasarong Wilds, and I don't think you really see it in many other parts of the game that he goes to. This seems to be the only time that you see Kapik or Kapik. And so when I came across this Kodo, just doing mount farming stuff, I was like, dude, that's pretty cool. And that's why Kapik is number 6. 5. Number 5 is the quest Calming the Kodo, and this is a fun quest where you actually feed enraged Kodos and calm them down with some soothing broth. And you might be like, wow, that sounds really nice. Some soothing broth? What's in it? Well, according to Teresa Amberglen, who does this quest, she says it's time to put my theory to the test. I've used the rejuvenated thunder lizard's blood in the making of this concoction. I hope it will soothe the Kodo when they eat it. Well, it turns out it does. So, Thunder Lizard Blood, apparently, one of the best Kodo calming agents around. But this is just a fun quest because you put some soup down and they run over and eat it, and they're like, brah. They eat it in like one bite too, and then they're good to go. Apparently, a lot of people find this quest annoying because the Kodos do take forever to spawn, so if other people are doing it, it's a bad time. But if you're just there doing it alone, it's great. I also think these Kodos are a really cool color. They're kind of like greenish gray, which I like a lot. More of like a scaly reptilian type of Kodo. So I wanted to put this in the list, and I thought number 5 was a good spot. 4. Number 4 are the Ancient Kodos, and the Ancient Kodos are found at the Kodo Graveyard, which is a large graveyard that is the final resting place of the Kodo located in Desolace. Notably, there is a quest to collect Kodo bones that requires adventurers to fight Kodo apparitions which materialize when they attempt to loot bones on the ground. The entire concept of the Kodo Graveyard is a reference to the legendary Elephant Graveyards, which, if you don't know, is a place where, according to legend, old elephants instinctively direct themselves when they reach a certain age. There's also the Goblin Smeed Scrabble Screw that has figured out how to rejuvenate and control aged and dying Kodos with his Kodo Combobulator, and there's a quest where you have to go round up a bunch of Kodos and bring it back to him. So I always thought the Kodo Graveyard was cool, and so the Ancient Kodos are a part of the Kodo Graveyard, and that's why I picked the Ancient Kodos. I mean, listen, they're just old Kodos. I'm an old person at heart, right? I'm an old person pretty much in general. My body, my mind. The only thing that isn't old about me is my age, so that's why the Ancient Kodo is number 4. 3. Speaking of the cycle of life, number 3 is the Baby Kodo, the Kodo Calfling. And the Kodo Calfling is the pet of Gef, and the Calfling will follow Gef around, but that's pretty much it. And if you're wondering about Gef, if there's anything in particular that's important about Gef or any crazy stuff, nope, he's just some orc kid wandering around. So it's really just some random kid and his pet Kodo. And I love that, man. Like, these are the things that I really enjoy finding in Pointless Top 10. You know, just the actual pointless things in the game that truly are treasures, right? Like, this kid's just wandering around with his Kodo, and they're having a great time. And sometimes that's all you need, right? Sometimes you're just walking around the world, and some people be like, oh, this isn't really a part of the game in terms of, like, questing or collectibles. Why is it here? Well, it adds depth to the world, right? Like, it adds something. The pointless things truly do add something. And he's cute. In fact, I'm surprised that we don't have more Kodo Calflings. You know what I mean? So that's why the Kodo Calfling is number 3. 2. Number 2 is Brewtusk, and Brewtusk is a Kodo at the Morshan Rampart in Ashenvale, and he's part of the quest chain for Got Lumber, which is this big quest chain where you have to go on the offensive and strike Ashenvale with the Horde, and at the end of it, Brewtusk actually dies, and it's a big sad thing, and they're like, Brewtusk, no! So if you just don't do the quest, Brewtusk lives. Brewtusk only dies if you do the quest, you know what I'm saying? So I mean, just don't do the quest and he'll just be chilling there all the time. It's a foolproof plan, or a foolproof? I never know which one it is. But either way, Brewtusk actually looks really cool. He kind of has the Brewfest Kodo vibe going on, but without all the crazy, you know, the beer mugs and like all that stuff. But I mean, listen, man, this guy is a war-torn Kodo. Like, he has seen battle. Obviously, there is a timeline where he dies, but we're not going down that timeline. And that's why Brewtusk is number 2. 1. And number 1 is Dodonga the Kodo in the Ungoro Crater. And in Classic WoW, Dodonga gives you the quest, Dodonga is hungry, and you have to bring her 15 blood petal sprouts. Dodonga is also very likely a reference to the original Legend of Zelda game. The wise man you find in the dungeon says something along the lines of, Dodongo dislikes smoke, and if you go to one of the NPCs by Dodonga, they say, I know, Dodonga dislikes smoke. However, when the Cataclysm hit, Dodonga was killed. This is just the classic Blizzard just killing something off for no reason. I'm just like, dude, what? So sadly, Dodonga is buried at Dodonga's grave. However, the ghost of Dodonga appears during the Ungoro Madness event. So you can still see Dodonga, but only for like 3 days out of the year. And she's a ghost. But I just think Dodonga is really cool. It's one of the only like quest-giving NPCs that's a Kodo in the game, I believe, and they've been around since the entire game of Classic WoW into Retail WoW. I mean, now they're a ghost, but I mean, there's plenty of characters that are around that are just ghosts in the game, right? So that's why, to me, Dodonga is number 1. Hey everybody, thanks for checking out this episode of Pointless Top 10. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe. Also, if you want to see the entirety of Pointless Top 10s, I'll put the playlist up here so you can see them all, or here's a random one. I'll give you Fireplaces. Go watch Fireplaces. Okay? Okay. See ya.